The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show. The Pool Guy Podcast Show. Yeah!
Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of the Pool Guy Show. Today I'm going to talk about what to do after a windstorm with your pool. Here in California, we're entering the Santa Ana wind season, and I know across some states you've had hurricanes or some tropical storms hit. So I'm going to go over some things that you're going to need to do when your pool is hit by a major windstorm event. And today's podcast is brought to you by InyoPools.com. Inyo Pools has been helping pool owners find the right pool parts since 2001. With over 50,000 pool parts in stock, order online today and have your parts delivered right to your door. So I'm going to jump right into this week's episode and talk about what to do when you're faced with a windstorm. And the first thing is to prepare for the storm. You'll probably have warning that it's going to get really windy. Here in California, there's always warnings of the 50-mile-an-hour gust type winds. And this type of wind gust can really destroy your pool. Back in 2011, November 30th, my area was hit by a major windstorm where the wind gusts were over 100 miles per hour. And it just destroyed all the pools. It took about 3 weeks just to get everything looking semi-normal. I was working from dawn to dusk trying to get these pools cleaned up. So I know what it's like to face hurricane-type winds. And so if you live in an area where you get the hurricanes, you're going to get advance warning that it's coming. So one of the things that you want to do if you're expecting a major windstorm, I recommend if you're the homeowner to turn off your pool equipment. I know this sounds counterproductive, but basically, if you're going to get hit by a windstorm with gusts of over 50 miles an hour, if you have less wind, like 25 to 30 mile hour range, I usually don't recommend turning off your equipment. Your skimmer can probably handle most of the debris that goes in there. But if you're getting gusts of over 50 miles an hour, it's going to blow just about everything into the pool, and it's going to clog up the skimmer, and thereby making the pump run dry. So it's counterproductive to run your pool when the winds are at 50 miles an hour or above. You're just going to cause some damage to the equipment. You may cause some discharge leaking from the equipment also as it gets clogged up with the debris and not pulling water through the pump. So that's the first step. Turn off your equipment and leave it off. And then after that, once the winds subside, you want to go out to your pool and assess how it looks. It'll probably look pretty bad in most cases. And you want to check the chemistry. Sometimes the chemistry, depending on the time of year, if the winds hit it before summer, you may zero out your chlorine. Usually in the wintertime, the pool water is pretty cold, so that's not really a factor, but it could still turn green on you pretty rapidly, even in cold water. So you want to make sure you have a really high chlorine level. I like to bring it up to a shock level because the leaves will absorb a lot of the chlorine in the pool. So bring it up to a shock level of 5 to 10 parts per million. Depending on your pool size, will depend on how much chlorine you're going to need to add to your pool to do that. And you pretty much know your pool by this point in the season. You'll know how much chlorine to put in to raise it to the shock level. And then what you want to do is to start cleaning the surface debris off the pool. So you want to skim all the surface debris off the pool the best you can. And then once you got the surface debris skimmed off the pool, you want to empty out your skimmer basket, empty out your pump basket, and then go ahead and start your pool up again. So you want to do this pretty rapidly. You want to get your pool running as soon as possible. So, usually the day after the windstorm, I recommend if you're maintaining your own pool, you get out there, skim the surface. Don't worry about anything on the bottom of the pool. You get to that later. Just skim the surface of your pool, get all that debris off the top, and get the pool running. And then you can address the bottom of the pool when you have more time. And the leaves can stay on the bottom for a day or two without doing any harm. It's not going to be any kind of emergency to get those leaves off the bottom. To get leaves off the bottom, you can do several things. Number one, you can just use a leaf rake and skim off all the leaves from the bottom of the pool. This is kind of time consuming, but it's effective. You can get all the leaves out that way. And you can also get what's called the leaf bagger. And this particular device hooks up to your garden hose, and then you could wheel it around your pool. You use the water pressure from the garden hose to push all the debris up into a bag. And this is a pretty effective tool to use to get the leaves off the bottom. WaterTech also makes a battery-operated leaf bagger, and this will also be effective in getting leaves off the bottom. If you have an extreme wind area, or if you service pools, you may want to invest in a vacuum system like the Power Vac or the Riptide or the Hammerhead. And these are systems that operate off of a battery, and they have a motor inside there that will pull all the debris up into these bags. I have several videos on my channel covering the vacuum systems. So if you're a homeowner and you live in an area that's prone to severe winds, like LA County here in California, or San Bernardino County where you get a lot of winds all the time, you may want to invest in one of these. They have the Power Vac and the Riptide both make a battery handheld unit without the cart. If you're in the service industry, you may want to get it with the cart, but generally speaking, the vacuum with the battery case, and then you have to buy the battery, of course, will run you right about $1,000 for the vacuum battery case, and then buying the 35Ah marine battery to run the system. So it's a worthy investment. It's almost like buying a cleaner for your pool, a high-end robotic cleaner, except this vacuum you can use year after year to vacuum out the large debris from your pool. And I would highly recommend that if you live in an area that gets a lot of leaves in your pool all season long. It'll be a great investment for you to buy this versus buying an automatic cleaner or a robotic cleaner to clean out your pool. You just keep this at your pool side. Whenever you get a lot of leaf debris in your pool, pull out the Power Vac, drop it in there, and vacuum everything out of the pool. It's highly effective. And same goes with pool service. If you service an area where you get a lot of winds, like here in LA County and San Bernardino County in California, we get Santa Ana winds blowing through here at this time of year. And Orange County also gets hit pretty badly with the Santa Ana winds. You really want to think about investing in a vacuum system for your service truck so that it'll speed up your day and make things a lot easier for you. Typically, when a pool is hit with 50 mile an hour winds, without any kind of vacuum system, you're spending typically an hour on the pool just to get it looking halfway decent. If you have a vacuum system like the Power Vac, you would just drop it in there and move it along the bottom, and you'll be out of there in 25 minutes, and the pool's going to look a lot better. So that's what I recommend for you, to get the leaves out a lot quicker on the bottom versus just using a leaf rake to skim them out. And in contrast to that, if you live in an area like a desert area or states like Arizona, Nevada, where when the wind blows you get a lot of dirt in the pool versus leaves, I would recommend getting a portable pump. This is a pump that you can actually build. You can use an above ground pool pump that has a plug, and you can put the fittings on there, and you can use this to vacuum out the pool. It'll just vacuum out the water to your sewer or to a waste line, and I have some videos on the portable pumps. Or you can go even further, one step further, and buy a portable filtration system. And I've done some videos on the Advantage Manufacturing PortaVac and MiniVac 2. And these are self-contained pumps and filter units, and you can use these to pull all the dirt out of the pool. I don't recommend using your pool's equipment to vacuum a lot of dirt and sand out of the pool. For one reason, it'll clog up the system unless you have a vacuum the waste mode set up on your filter. And typically, DE filters or sand filters may have a vacuum the waste mode. In that case, you can hook up your manual vacuum to your pool, put it on waste mode, and vacuum the dirt off the bottom of the pool very easily. But if you don't have that kind of setup, you have a cartridge filter, or if you have a DE filter with a push-pull backwash valve that won't allow you to vacuum the waste, I definitely would recommend getting a portable pump or a portable filtration system to vacuum that dirt out of the pool without using your existing pool's equipment, because all that dirt in there is going to clog up the filters. It'll definitely shorten the life of your filter. If you live in the high desert, you know that if you have a cartridge filter, you're just replacing the cartridges every year or two. And the same thing happens with the windstorm. It'll just really go through your filter system and make a mess of it. So you want to make sure you have some kind of alternate way to vacuum out that dirt from your pool if you get hit with a windstorm, but in your area it's mainly dirt versus getting a lot of leaves in the pool. So let me touch on a couple things that you may not think about during a windstorm. One of the things you definitely want to do before the windstorm hits is to take down all of your umbrellas around your pool area. You also want to move all of your lawn pool furniture away from the edge of the pool, or anything that's near the pool you want to just move as far away from the pool as possible, because chances are they will blow into the pool. I've serviced areas where it got extremely windy before, and I pulled out barbecues that rolled into the pool. Definitely pulled out many umbrellas that had fallen into the pool, and it's quite a chore getting those out of the pool when they're open on the bottom of the pool. And of course, lawn furniture on the bottom of the pool will blow right into your pool, and it just makes it much harder to keep it clean. Any kind of potted plants, I've definitely had potted plants blow into the pool. When they hit the bottom, they usually shatter, and all the soil that's in there will scatter into the pool, making a big mess. So potted plants, any kind of furniture, any kind of umbrellas, just move those away from the pool area during a windstorm. And again, you're going to have warning, and more than likely you'll have a day or two of warning that this is going to happen in your area. So take precautions and move those away, especially if you have glass lawn furniture, patio furniture. You want to make sure those are away from the pool. I've had glass tables shatter inside a pool, and I was cleaning glass shards out for weeks. So you definitely want to prevent more debris from going in the pool by cleaning the area around your pool, keeping that area free of any kind of furniture, umbrellas, and such. So if you do pool service and your area gets hit by a major windstorm, it's a good idea to have in your service contract something that stipulates that any time over the normal cleaning of the pool may be an extra charge. You have to decide in your area what to charge for a cleanup after a windstorm, and it's going to be extra time for you out there doing the work, and you should be compensated for it. You don't want to be doing extra work cleaning a pool up and not being compensated for it, because then you're going to lose money because you're spending extra time, and it's really not part of the regular maintenance of a pool to clean it up after a windstorm. Now there are exceptions. If the windstorm is not major, you could definitely clean it up for the customer and spend an extra 5 or 10 minutes there. If you have the right equipment, you can clean it up pretty rapidly. But for a major windstorm of wind of 50 miles an hour or above, you're definitely going to have some kind of service agreement that stipulates that in the event of a windstorm, the extra time will have to be charged to the customer for the cleanup. And that's pretty typical in a lot of areas that get hurricanes or windstorms. So make a note of that when you have your service agreement with your customer, to have that put in there to prevent you from just doing work that is above and beyond what you normally are supposed to do with the regular maintenance of the pool. And the same thing applies if you're a homeowner and you find that you can't clean the pool after a windstorm. This may happen if you're a busy person and you work, a lot of hours, you don't have time to do the extra work, but you do have time to maintain your own pool. You can definitely call a service professional to come out there to do a one-time cleanup, and they can clean the pool up for you, and that'll save you a lot of effort and time. And I suggest doing this if you're a new pool owner, or if you just don't have the resources to do the cleanup yourself. Instead of wasting your time and being frustrated and maybe having your pool water chemistry become really out of balance, or maybe some equipment damage, just call a pool service company to come over and do a one-time cleanup for you, and they'll get the pool cleaned up for you and everything back in shape. So that's an option for a homeowner if you find yourself overwhelmed by a windstorm and you find that you can't clean your own pool. Definitely hire a professional to do a one-time cleanup for you. So if you get a windstorm also with a lot of rain at the same time, there may be some other factors to consider when you're doing the cleanup. The first one is the water level in the pool. If you get a lot of rain at one time, the pool may be overflowing, so you definitely want to drain down some of that water. And you can get a submersible pump, drop it in your pool. You can also, some equipment areas have a hose spigot or bib attached to the pump, so when you turn on the pump you can actually attach a garden hose to it and drain it out. I don't recommend, if you have a D filter with a push-pull valve, to put it in backwash mode and drain the pool that way, because all that water going through the filter and backwash mode for 10 to 15, 20 minutes could damage the grids. It's not made to be backwashed for more than a minute or two, so you definitely want to make sure you don't do that with that type of filter. If you have a sand filter or a D filter with waste mode, again, you can vacuum it and drain the pool that way, and that'll get the water out. So those are some methods to drain the pool. Once you get it down to a certain level where the leaves are going into the skimmer, you can stop draining it down and you continue with your cleanup. Also, another thing that happens with a windstorm with rain is that the chemistry in the pool gets diluted very quickly, and this happened in 2011 when we had the major windstorm here in California with 100-mile-an-hour gusts. I think it was the very next day or the day after, or maybe a couple days after, it started raining really hard. It was in December when this happened. December 1st is when the next day after the windstorm, and it just was raining. I think most of that week it rained, so not only was I cleaning up the debris in there, but because of the rain, the chemistry was just getting diluted, and it rained pretty hard too, and it was just a mess with the rain washing in mud and dirt also. So with the rain and wind at the same time, it could be a really messy situation. And if there's thunder and lightning, you definitely don't want to go out there and clean your pool in that situation. People ask me, what do I do when there's a thunderstorm in my area? Do I go out and service the pools? My answer is usually I don't skim the pools. I don't take my pole out there. I'm walking around with a giant lightning rod. I've had pool equipment struck by lightning on my pool route, so I know that lightning does strike my area, so I don't want to be out there with a big lightning rod in my hand. What I will do if the storm is not severe is check the chemistry. Otherwise, I won't go out pretty much at all if it's thunder and lightning in my general area. It's just too dangerous and not worth the risk. So same goes for you if you're a homeowner and you're cleaning up your pool after a major thunderstorm with wind. If the forecast is calling for lightning, don't go out there and clean your pool. Just wait another day or two and do it. It's not an emergency, and you don't want to risk your life out there doing that when there's thunder and lightning. So I'll recap real quick. If you're expecting a major windstorm at 50 mile an hour or stronger gusts, go ahead and turn off your pool for that period of time until the windstorm passes. Then you want to skim all the debris off the surface, get the pool running again as soon as possible. You want to make sure the chemistry level is at shock level, especially if you have a lot of leaves in the pool, to prevent any kind of algae growth or your pool turning on you. Then you want to clean the bottom, either with a good leaf rake to skim everything out, or with a leaf bagger that will vacuum all the leaves off the bottom using your garden hose. You may want to invest in the Power Vac, Riptide, or Hammerhead vacuum system. These are designed to pull heavy debris off the bottom of the pool very, very rapidly and easily. And if you live in an area that gets prone to these windstorms and the pool gets really thrashed out there, I definitely would recommend investing in one of these systems. So that's a look pretty much at what you do before the windstorm. Of course, I mentioned moving all the furniture away from the pool, what you do after the windstorm hits, and the things you can use to help simplify the cleaning of your pool during the cleanup process. So I hope you found this podcast helpful. And if you live in an area that's wind prone, I really feel for you. I live in an area where the Santa Ana winds hit all the way anywhere from October all the way through March and April in my area. So I know what it feels like to get to a pool that's just totally destroyed. And I just want to walk away basically and just quit the account. But I know I can't do that. And if you're a homeowner, you just can't fill your pool up with dirt in that situation either. You're going to have to clean it out and get it back looking like a pool again. So I feel for you, all those who are dealing with the wind. Before I end this week's podcast, I want to touch on some resources that I have available for you. First one I want to talk about is my ebook. You can find this on my website. This book is packed with many helpful articles, anywhere from pool chemistry all the way to cleaning tools. Some of the things I've covered in this particular podcast are in the ebook itself. You can find the ebook for a low price of $9.99. And if you order the ebook, I can also send you a downloadable PDF, so you can have the ebook with you even when you're not online. Another resource that's really great if you're a pool service professional is my Patreon site. On this site, you can join at a $10 or $20 level. These levels will allow you to text me or call me directly. Also, if you join, you're going to get a discount on your general liability insurance, and you'll be added to the GroupMe app, where I have about 40 pool guys and gals in there right now, and we can ask each other questions. I'll also be in this particular group, and I'll answer questions for you. And also, you get a copy of my ebook when you join me on Patreon at the $10 or $20 level. This is a great resource for the pool service professional. And of course, you can watch my YouTube videos. I also write a blog. You go over to my blog. I have about 800,000 page views on my blog. It's one of the most popular pool blog sites there is right now. And I also have a website, swimmingpoollearning.com, where you can find a lot of great articles, a lot of links to different pool products on there, and definitely would recommend you check out these resources that will help you maintain your pool, especially if you maintain your pool by yourself, or if you're a pool service professional and you need additional help. I have these resources available for you, so you can reach out to me on a one-to-one basis. You can also email me on my website, post a comment on my YouTube videos, and I'm really good at answering these comments and questions, and I'll definitely get back to you if you do post a comment or question for me. So I hope you enjoyed this week's podcast. Have a great rest of your week, and God bless.
The Pool Guy Podcast Show.